Hey guys, welcome to another JoArt1 and Co Sports and Gaming NRL 2022 round team list and key matchups. This week we're focusing on round 16 of the NRL Telstra Premiership. You guys also like my new background and my virtual thing. Hope you guys like it. We've just put the updated logo there and the NRL logo, so to signify the NFL background for this the NRL. Alrighty guys, so if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at JoArt1 and Co Sports and Gaming. Guys, make sure you click the little bell icon so you'll be notified anytime we do new updates like this or any of the NFL videos or any other content such as gaming and other things. And guys, also follow us on Instagram at JoArt1 and Co. It's good to see you guys are enjoying our post YouTube videos and stuff like that, so it's good to see we're getting some feedback and getting some supporters. Let's do it. And guys, this week is a big week in the NRL, and we'll get to that in the middle of the video as well. So let's get into this one and let's get cracking for round 16 of the NRL Telstra Premiership. Alrighty guys, and make sure if you haven't already, we're still got a tipping comp at the moment. I've been checking a while ago. I think Nowsy's still in the lead, so well done to him. All the best to him. Hopefully he's all going good with his tipping comp. But yeah, so very, very good to see that he's in the lead at the moment. Yeah, so Nowsy's in the lead, so well done. All the best teams doing very well. Not doing so well with my tipping this year, same as 2Block. But yeah, so guys, if you want to join us, the comp is there and also the code to get into the comp. So yeah, that sounds exciting. Alrighty, we are into round 16 of the NRL Telstra Premiership, coming off a rep round that was quite interesting and busy. This week we've got the 1 Thursday game, 2 Fridays, 3 Saturday matches, and of course the 2 Sundays. So let's get cracking into the team list for this week. To start us off for the Thursday night match, the Manly Warringah Seagulls are taking on the Melbourne Storms live in HD on your wide world of sport, Fox League KO Sport, and it'll be at 4 Pine Park, Sydney. It'll be at 5:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be an absolute belter, especially 30th of June, the last day of June. So yeah, it's going to be extremely cold out there. Make sure, guys, during the week you have got a beanie this week. Hint, hint. Get to the end of the video so you guys kind of get the point of it. All right, let's get cracking into this. So let's begin with the team list. Let's start off with the Manly Warringah Seagulls. We have Ruben Garrick for the backs, Jason Saab, Morgan Harper, Tatola Kula, Christian Tupuludu, Kieran Foran, Daly Cherry Evans. For the forwards, we've got Sean Kempe, Lachlan Croker, Tafua Sipley, Hamili Alotoa, Andrew Davey, Jake Trbojevic. And for the interchange, we've got Dylan Walker, Josh Schuster, Mun Tapau, Talani Pasca. And for the reserves, we've got Ben Trbojevic, Kurt D. Lewis, Ethan Bolmore, George Tafua, and Kioe Weeks. And this week, Josh Aloiai is out of the squad for the Manly Seagulls. And as we look forward to the Melbourne team list for this week, we have for the backs, Nick Meaney, Dane Lemire, Mario Sevi, Justin Olam, Grant Anderson, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes. For the forwards, we've got Jesse Bromwich, Harry Grant, Josh King, Chris Lewis, Kenny Bromwich, Brandon Smith. And for the interchange, we've got Jane Nikarima, Tui Kamika, Tom Eisenhuth, and Nelson Asofa Solomona. For the reserves, we've got Alec McDonald, Ryan Pappenhausen, Tyron Wishart, Jordan Grant, and Bronson Garlick. And this week, the 2 players that are out for Melbourne are Felice Kabusi and Trent Laurie. Now, just to confirm with every Melbourne fan, the Cameron Munster one isn't confirmed yet because he did pick up a shoulder injury during the State of Origin. So I think they will make a decision 24 hours before the game tomorrow night. So that one, I wouldn't put your hopes on Cameron Munster being in the squad for that one. he had a pretty bad injury during Origin, the second one. So we'll have to wait and see. He might be even out for State of Origin 3, so we don't know. Well, it's Manly and Melbourne, the two bitter rivals. They already had a game this year during the Indigenous round, and as you can see, there's a photo in the middle of the portrait, or the actual PowerPoint. The Melbourne Storms won on the Indigenous round with the Cam Munster Spectacular. These two, Melbourne sitting second on the ladder. Manly not as doing great as what they had hoped this year. This is going to be a game to see where each team are, especially for Manly. This is do or die. For Manly to be stay in touch with the top 8, they have to beat Melbourne, and this is a real test to them. I'm going to put my money on Melbourne. I really truly believe that Melbourne have the edge to beat Manly here. I don't think you can really back against Melbourne in these situations because they're just so good at the way they play football these days. And I've got to say, there's a whole potential chance that, Manly could win, but it's going to take a lot of courage and it's a hard game. Let's just say it's a very, very hard game for them. So I'm going to back the, what's it called? I'm going to back the Melbourne Storms for this one. I think that's how it's going to go with this week. But yeah, I'm back in Melbourne for this game. I don't think Manly will have, or they might get a chance, but I don't know. It's one of those things. All right, moving on to the first Friday night match, and it's between the Newcastle Knights taking on the Gold Coast Titans at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at McDonald Jones Stadium. And guys, you can watch this on Fox League and KO Sport, live in HD and free with no ads. And let's get into the backs for the Newcastle Knights. For the backs, we've got Tex Hoy, Edrickley, Dan Gagai, Yunali Tuala, Dominic Young, Anthony Milford, Adam Clune. For the forwards, we've got David Clemmer, Chris Randall, Jacob Saifidi, Tyson Brazil, Mitch Barnett, Kurt Mann. For the in-change, we've got Simi Sagi, Leo Thompson, Matt Croker, Pasili Solo. And for the reserves, we've got Jake Clifford, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Bradman Best, Hamali Hunt, and Daniel Saifidi. And the two players that are out this week is Kalen Ponga and Phoenix Gosselin, another State of Origin injury. Ponga got a head concussion, so we'll get news on him very shortly, what's happening soon. And moving on to the Gold Coast Titans, we have for the backs, Alexander Brimson, Greg Marsden, Brian Kelly, Patrick Herbert, Jermaine Asako, Paul Turner, and Toby Sexton. For the forwards, we've got Jared Wallace, Aaron Clark, Isaac Liu, Sam McIntyre, Bo Fermor, Tina Famasuli. And for the interchange, we've got Tannen Boyd, Moeka Forueka, Jermaine Jolliffe, David Fafita. And for the reserves, we've got Corey Thompson, Herman Esiesi, Aaron Booth, Kevin Proctor, and Sophia Fafita. And the outs for the Gold Coast Times this week is Sam Lissoni. Well, an epic matchup between these two sides. The Newcastle Knights not having a great season, and the Gold Coast Titans, well, at the moment, they're on the bottom of the ladder. Two teams that have really, really struggled this year to find their best form. Newcastle, they've won games, but they haven't won games that are very, not great games at the moment. Like, there's a lot of question marks around Newcastle this year, if they even have what it takes to make the grand final this year or the finals in general. So it's a lot of questions. And Gold Coast, from a season that was amazing last year to this year, absolutely abysmal. So it's going to be hard to pick between the two, but I'm going to say Newcastle. They're at home. They're at McDonald Jones Stadium. Their fans will get behind them, especially for the Mark Hughes Foundation round, which we'll get into at the end of the video. It'll be an epic matchup between these two. I reckon Newcastle has got this one in the bag. I don't see the Gold Coast Titans, unless they can really play some great football, make Newcastle make some really concerning decisions for themselves, but I don't see the Gold Coast potentially being able to do that. So I'm going to go the Newcastle Knights to seal the deal and win this one and get the 2 points for the week. And moving on to this next game on Friday, it's a big one. The Penrith Panthers will take on the Sydney Roosters live in HD on the Wide Sports, Fox League and KO Sport at 7:55 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at Bluebet Stadium, Penrith. Well, this is going to be a big one. Let's get into the team list for these two sides. And we have, for the backs, Dylan Edwards, Talani May, Isaac Tago, Stephen Crichton, Brian To'o, Jerome Luai, Nathan Cleary. For the forwards, we've got Moses Leota, Apisai Coruscant, James Fisher-Harris, Viliami Kickout, Liam Munn, Isaiah Yeo. For the interchange, you've got Mitch Kenny, Scott Sorensen, Spencer Leung, and Jermaine Salomon. And for the reserves, you've got Robert Jennings, Matthew Eisenhuth, Chris Smith, Sini Turavara, and Sean O'Sullivan. And all the players for the Panthers that played in the State of Origin will be backing up for the Penrith Panthers this week, same as the Sydney Roosters as we get into their team list for this week. And it starts off with James Tedesco, Daniel Tupou, Billy Smith will be in the number 3 jersey this week. Joseph Manu, Joseph Suwali, Drew Hutchinson, and Sam Walker. Luke Keary will be rested for this game due to his head knock against the Parramatta Eels a couple of weeks ago. So he will not be playing this one coming up. And then we got Lindsay Collins, Sam Verrills, Sione Takiaho, Angus Crichton, Silly Tupanua, and Victor Radley back in the squad for the forwards. And for the interchange, we've got Connor Watson, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher, Fletcher Baker. And for the reserves, we've got Paul Moborowski, Daniel Saluka Fafita, Adam Carrington, and Terrell May and Lachlan Lamb. And of course, Paul Moborowski is being replaced by Billy Smith this week. So he's been swapped around, and Paul Moborowski is in the reserves this weekend. But the big news for the Roosters, James Tedesco, Tupou, Victor Radley, and of course Angus Crichton and Lindsay Collins are back in the squad for this week's epic match against the Panthers, coming back off the New South Wales win in Perth. All the players from State of Origin are back except for just some players during the week, but not every single player will not be playing this week. So it's a good opportunity. Panthers and the Roosters. Panthers at the moment, you can't touch them. They are untouchable. They are a team this year that's already set their standards. They're a team that's already set their standards for the season. They are definitely going to be in the finals this year, deep into the finals. Just the only thing is Melbourne is catching them on their tail, right behind them. But apart from that, the Panthers looking really good. The Roosters, at the moment, they're not having a very... Look, as a Roosters fan, it's been a very weird season to see for the boys. Usually they've had a lot of success throughout the season, but this year it just seems like a lot of combinations are starting to get used to each other. We have some players that are injured, like, Jad Hargraves, inexperience with some of our veteran players, like, having Courtner and stuff out. It has really made a dent to the Roosters this year. And then, with Luke Keary's concussion, it's going to be another obstacle for the Roosters to burrow over, because these Panthers are going to come out red hot and firing, especially at Bluebet Stadium. I'm going to back my Roosters, but I'm guessing by everyone watching this video, everyone will be going to Panthers. And you know what? That's fine. This is going to be an epic matchup, and I really do believe that this could be a game where Roosters could potentially win and make some damage, or the Panthers will just keep rolling on. So it's an interesting matchup, but I'm going to go the Roosters. I'm going to back my boys. Can't wait for the matchup on Friday. It's going to be an epic one. Moving on to our Super Saturday. To start off, we have the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at CommBank Stadium, Sydney. And all 3 of the Super Saturday matches will be on Fox League and KO Sport. Alrighty, let's get into the backs for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. We have, For the backs, Jake Averillo, Jacob Cars, Aaron Shoup, Corey Allen, Josh Adokar, Matt Burden, Kyle Flanagan. For the forwards, we've got Max King, Jeremy Marshall King, Paul Vaughan, Josh Jackson, Raymond Fatala Mariner, Tavita Pango Jr., and for the in-change, we've got Zach Docker, Clay, Corey Waddell, Joe Simpson, and Kurt Moran. And for the reserves, we've got Delkin Casey, Bailey Bodie Odo, Jaden Turner, Harrison Edwards, and Jackson Toopy. Alrighty, and moving on to the Cronulla Southern Sharks. For the backs, we've got William Kennedy, Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramian, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Matt Moylan, and Nico Hines. For the forwards, we've got Toby Rudolph, Blake Brayley, Royce Hunt, Britton Nakora, Wade Graham, Cameron McInnes. For the interchange, we've got Adrian Tolman, Del Finucane, Tegan Wilton, Andrew Fafita. For the reserves, we've got Connor Tracy, Brandon Trindle, Kay Dykes, Jesse Colker, and Lachlan Miller. Alrighty, the Sharks and the Bulldogs. A pretty big match for, I think, the Bulldogs, and a big match for Cronulla. Cronulla in the top four. They look to definitely be in the finals this year. But the Bulldogs, they had a good win against the Tigers 2 weeks ago. They're starting to look like they have a lot more confidence in the squad. Now that they are off the bottom of the ladder, will the Bulldogs start winning games this year to make improvements for next year? Or will the Doggies not be able to put a dent to the Sharks? And will the Sharks continue on with a win? It's a very hard choice. I'm going to be honest. The Sharks this year have been okay at their best. I think this is going to be a really interesting game. I reckon the Bulldogs could pull an upset if the Sharks are not on the day, but it just all depends on how the Sharks go out there that day and basically how they perform. But my opinion, I'm going to back Cronulla. I think Cronulla still has the edge against the Doggies. Even though the Dogs I'm being really impressed with their improvement the last couple of weeks and them boasting themselves back up, but I've got a feeling Cronulla might get the job done here, so I'm going to back the Cronulla Southern Sharks. But I reckon this game could be another upset game. I know there's a couple games this week that there could be upsets, but it just all depends on how each team comes on the field every night or every day. And it depends on whether or not players will be doing well or struggling in certain points. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, moving on to the second game of Super Saturday, and it's the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Brisbane Broncos, live in HD at 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Townsville. And this is going to be an epic matchup between the two Queensland sides, as this is the Queensland Derby. Alrighty, moving on to the backs for the Cowboys. Well, the team list for the Cowboys, it is Scott Drinkwater, Hamisai Tabiafeto, Valentine Holmes, Peter Hiku, Murray Talangi, Tom Dearden, Chad Townsend. For the forwards, we've got John McLean, Reece Robson, Cohen Hess, Tom Gilbert, Jeremiah Nani, Jason Tamalolo. For the in-change, we've got Jake Granville, Luciano Leilua, Jermaine Tawana Brown, Griffith Neyman. And for the reserves, we've got Ben Conda, Braden Elliott, Kane Bradley, Sophie Baliwariki, I think that's it, Kyle Phil. And for, is that the reserves? Yeah, that's the reserves. Ben Conda, Braden Elliott, Kane, and Kyle Phil. So Kyle Phil will be out of the number 4 jersey, I'm guessing, yeah. Alrighty, and for the Broncos, we have Team Murray Martin, Corey Oates, Katoni Staggs, Branko Lee, Selwyn Cobbo, Ezra Mame, and Adam Reynolds for the backs. And Adam Reynolds is back for the Broncos. And for the forwards, we've got Corey Jensen, Billy Walters, Payne Haas, Kirk Capewell, Jordan Rickey, Patrick Carrigan. And for the in-change, we've got Jake Turbin, Kobe Herthington, Thomas Flegler, Keenan Palmacia. And for the reserves, we've got John Pereira, Tui Rabadi, Tyson Gamble, DeLucia Hotura, and Rice Kennedy. Well, we've got an epic matchup. The Cowboys and the Broncos. Two teams in the top 8 this year. The Broncos having a remarkable season. Same as the Cowboys. Two teams that no one expected to actually make the top 8 this year, but they've both made it, and they've made it with a very, very good chance of actually taking out the season if their cards get played right. The Cowboys and the Broncos, you've got a Queensland derby. It's always a legendary matchup. I'm going to back the Cowboys here. I reckon the Cowboys are going to absolutely destroy the Broncos. I think the Broncos, look, as much as we say they are improving, don't get me wrong, but I think there are certain things in the Broncos still that need to be adjusted. Like Adam Reynolds has only just come back this week off an injury, so we don't know how his fitness is going to be, so it'll be interesting to see, but I'm going to go the Cowboys. Cowboys have had a good season this year. They've beaten teams that unexpectedly we thought they were going to not beat, but they've done well. So I'm backing the Cowboys here for a win. Moving on to the final game of Super Saturday, and it's between the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Parramatta Eels at 7:35 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at Accor Stadium, Sydney. And this game again will be streamed on Fox League and KO Sport. All right, let's get into team lists, and let's start up with the South Sydney Rabbitohs backs. Latrell Mitchell is back for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. We've got Alex Johnson, Tania Mile, Campbell Graham, Jackson Paulo, Cody Walker, Lachlan Elias. For the forwards, we've got Tavita Tolo, Damien Cook, Mark Nichols, Keone Kalamantangi, Jai Ara, Cameron Murray. And for the interchange, we've got Cody Nikorima, Thomas Burgess, Savili Havili, and Hamio Selly. And for the reserves, we've got Blake Taff, Isaiah Tass, Liam Knight, Ben Lovett, and Davey Molo. And this week, Peter Mozolos is out for the Rabbitohs. And moving on to the Parramatta Eels. For the backs, we've got Clint Gutherson, Mike Sasivo, Will Penasea, Wonga Blake, Bailey Simonson, Dylan Brown, and Mitch Moses. For the forwards, we've got Regan Campbell-Gillard, Reid Marnie, Junior Paulo, Sean Lane, Isaiah Papali'i, Ryan Madison. And for the change, we've got Mahika Makatoa, Marata Nikori, Oregon Kafusi, KY Rodwell. And for the reserves, we've got Tom Opacek, Jake Arthur, Nathan Brown, Bryce Cartwright, and Hazem Perham. Well, the Parramatta Eels taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs not having a great season. Well, they are still in the top 8. Not having a great season, but they're still keeping in touch with the top 8 and the finals. Same as the Parramatta Eels. Parramatta are only just one on top of them, and Souths are 6. So Souths are 7, and Parramatta is 6. So it's going to be a battle between the two top 8 teams. An epic matchup between these two, especially the fact that this game does hold importance for these two teams, as both teams are hoping this year to push for a finals play. Rabbitohs, I think they're dying to go back into the grand final. Last year, getting beat by the Panthers, I think they've been wanting to get back in there. And Parramatta, they want to break their drought of having been into a grand final for the last couple of years. I'm going to back Parramatta here. I think Parramatta will be too strong for the Rabbitohs. I think even with Latrell coming back, Parramatta have won games that a lot of people didn't expect they're going to win. I think a lot of people would put their money on the Rabbitohs because of Latrell coming back, but there's still some questions with Latrell. We actually haven't seen Latrell play a game of footy. He's been okay in training, coming back into the squad, but we don't know how things are going to go with that. So it's still a very open book, and it just depends. I'm going to back Rabbitohs, but I reckon Rabbitohs are good. Oh my gosh. Parramatta. I'm going to back Parramatta for this one. I reckon Parramatta's got this one pretty well in the bag. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the two Sunday matches, and we start off with the big one, especially for the New Zealand Warriors. It's their homecoming coming back to Mount Smart Stadium. It's the Warriors taking on the West Tigers at Mount Smart Stadium, Auckland, at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or New Zealand time. It's going to be an epic matchup between these two, especially for the fact that Warriors getting the chance to play back at their home ground. It's going to be an exciting matchup. But before we get to talks about it, let's get into the team list for the two squads. Let's start off with the home side. The New Zealand Warriors. For the backs, we got Reece Walsh, Dylan Watene-Zelezniak, Jesse Arthurs, Ewan Aiken, Marcelo Matoya, Ronaldo Volkman, Sean Johnson. For the forwards, we've got Aidan Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan, Jazz Tavanga, Jack Murchie, Tohu Harris, and Josh Curran. For the interchange, we've got Chanel Harris-Tavita, Pantia Foa, Elise Katoa, Bailey Siren. And for the reserves, we've got Adam Pompey, Aaron Penne, Rocco Berry, Freddie Lussick, and Dejam Arce. And moving on to the West Tigers, we have, for the backs, Dane Laurie, David Nofaluma, Stafford Toa, James Roberts, Ken Mamalo, Luke Brooks, Jackson Hastings. For the forwards, we've got James Tamo, Philimo Brown, Zay Musgrove, Luke Gardner, Kelma Talangi, Joe Afangawi. And for the interchange, we've got Stefano Yukamanu, Adam Dewey, Alex Seafarth, Fanua Pole, and then for the reserves, we've got Asu Kapawa, Junior Tupou, Austin Diaz, Jacob Littleman, and Justin Matama. And for both teams, the outs are Daenerys Louis and Alex Twal for the Tigers. This is going to be an interesting one. New Zealand coming back home after they've played 2 seasons pretty much in Sydney. They finally get their homecoming that they've been dying for the last couple, or actually been waiting for the last couple months. It's going to be interesting. The Tigers, they lost against the Doggies the week before last week. And it was a very questionable loss for the Tigers. There was a lot of concerns around what happened to the Tigers during that game. Tigers didn't show any fight, and the thing is, a lot of people were putting the finger on the fact that it just doesn't look like the Tiger sides that was beating the Parramatta Eels and the Rabbitohs at one stage. But it's going to be an epic match. New Zealand and the Tigers. I'm going to go the Warriors. I want the Warriors to win their homecoming game. I reckon it's going to be an interesting one, especially Mount Smart Stadium, their home cauldron, their 1-0 stadium. They love the place, and to be able to play back at the grounds is going to be amazing. So I'm back in New Zealand to take down the Tigers there. And moving on to the final game of this week, and it's between the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Canberra Raiders at 4:05 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time at Wynn Stadium, Wollongong. And this game will be on the Whitewater Sport, Fox League, and KO Sport. All right, let's get into the team list for these two teams. We have, for the backs, Dragons, Cody Ramsey, Matthew Faege, Moses Sully, Zach Lomax, Mikhail Ravalawa, Tataula Amona, Ben Hunt. For the forwards, we've got Jack DeBellin, Andrew McCulloch, Blake Laurie, Jack Bird, Jaden Sewer, Tarek Sims. And for the interchange, we've got Moses Embo, Francis Molo, Aaron Woods, Mitch Molo. And for the reserves, we've got Josh Kerr, Tatoa Monga, Jane Sullivan, Jaden Sullivan. Am I saying that right? Jaden Sulvana. I think so. Jane Hunt and Billy Burns. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Canberra Raiders. For the backs, we have Xavier Savage, Nick Kotrick, Matthew Tomoko, Sebastian Chris, John Rapana, Jack Wyden, and Jamal Fogarty. For the forwards, we've got Josh Papali'i, Zach Wolford, Joseph Tarpany, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, Adam Elliott. And for the interchange, we've got Tom Starling, Ryan Sutton, Chanel Nickel Cox there, Corey Holsborough, and for the reserves, we've got Matt Frawley, Corey Horonanara, Trey Mooney, Semi Valame, and Adrian Charvillian. All right, an epic matchup between these two on a Sunday night. It's going to be pretty cold down in Wollongong, so it's going to be an interesting match between these two. The Dragons taking on the Raiders. Two teams this year, well, the Raiders struggling, but the Dragons, they're in the top 8 at the moment. Two teams that this year, even though they've been doing okay, they haven't had the best seasons. But the Dragons, they're looking to win a game that they need to, especially to keep in touch with the top 8. And the Canberra Raiders are hoping to win this game to get back into the top 8, especially with the fact that there's a lot on the line for Canberra. If they win this game, pretty much at the moment, the 4 teams or the 3 teams that are actually tied up for points is the Canberra Raiders, Manly, and the Roosters. If Canberra win this, there's a potential that the Roosters could come down to 11, or they could come down to 10 and Manly to 11. But it all just depends on how the results go for Canberra. And they'll be just one game short of actually getting back in the 8. Whereas the Dragons will, they win this, they climb over the Rabbitohs, or they just stay in the position if Rabbitohs win. So it's a real tussle at the moment between the teams, especially during the period of the year where pretty much every team is now fighting for the finals. I'm gonna back the Dragons here. I think the Dragons will do the job in Wollongong. Dragons have been renowned to win on cold, winterish nights at Wollongong, so that's good stats for me. So I'll be back in the St. George Illawarra Dragons for this one. But I reckon Canberra still can pull an upset, but it just depends on how everything goes. Alrighty, guys, and just to let you guys know that this week, for every game you go to, if you are going to the matches this week or you're watching on TV, this week is Beanie for Brain Cancer. So the whole round will be from the 30th to the 3rd of July. Make sure you guys buy a beanie at your local Lowe's or your local IGA. They are only $25 each. You can get one of these ones, or there's a couple others you'll see. You can already see in the photo there. Beanie for Brain Cancer is a really, really big cause in the NRL. The NRL, the last 3 years has really, actually no, the last 4 years, because 2018 they started it. So it's been a real cause that's, warmed a lot of the fans' hearts, to be able to raise awareness for brain cancer. And this is such a special cause. The Mark Hughes Foundation do an amazing job of supporting young kids or adults that are suffering with brain cancer. So this is a great cause to wear a beanie and show your support during, the winterish years. And like I said, guys, if you want to buy the beanies, it's $25 each for women, men, and children. You can buy them at Lowe's or IGA. You can buy it on game day if you're going to any of the matches this week, or you can also buy it online. That will also contribute to raise funds for the Mark Hughes Foundation. So each way that you support the cause this week by either buying a beanie or even donating money to them, it supports the cause and raises awareness of brain cancer. If you guys want the link will be down below this video like last week. I'll put the link down the video again for this one. But yeah, it's a really, really great cause, and yeah, it's a real good cause, and I really do, this is one that I really am behind with this one in the NRL. It's a really, really nice one to support. So if you get a chance, guys, this week, make sure you do. If you don't, that's understandable, but enjoy this week's NRL events. That is it from us. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Guys, make sure to follow us on Instagram at JoArt1 and Co. And also make sure to follow us on, or subscribe to our channel on YouTube at JoArt1 and Co Sports and Gaming. Make sure to click the bell icon as well so you'll be notified anytime we do new updates or any new videos or anything like that, like, say, for example, card openings or gaming or NFL. Guys, this week I won't be doing an NFL video update. Really, there hasn't been much going on in the NFL. I don't want to talk about just one particular thing. So next week I'll probably have a combined of all things that have happened in the NFL the last couple of weeks. But this week I won't be doing an NFL video for that one. So all good, guys. Just want to let you guys know that one as well. But guys, hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching us, and yeah, see you guys next week for round 17 of the NRL Telstra Premiership, and it's the team lists. That's it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and that's out for us. Peace. Bye.